country is abiding by if it's abiding its local law rules and regulations in compact with the international rules and regulations, then you can understand that it is uh, maintaining its score to points to be better positioned in international space. Then you might ask this question of why do we need to favor, or why do we need to act as such. So just so because you'll be given better opportunities in international space. Let's suppose there's any war type situations, then the other countries, other international countries would think that, oh, this country has followed so and so covenants, has followed so and so treaties, and they are still abiding by it. Then they are not rogue countries. Then we shall extend our support to this. So just so that, and also it will be very open for foreign funding and international investments, because if these points are like this is all part of ease of doing business. So ease of doing business tactics would be opened up easily, and investors would be free. Would think that this country is functioning properly on the democratic baselines, and it is not controlled by any other anti-state forces. So it will be better if we do business with this country. So in order to have all these things, so that's why we ratify for an international cause, and we do it for our own self. So let us talk about what is NHRC. So NHRC, the composition of NHRC is four full-time members and four deemed members, and chairperson who has capability to become a chairperson of NHRC. As we all know, NHRC. So don't confuse what is NHRC. National Human Rights Commission. I hope you are clear with it. So NHRC, who can be the member or the chief chairperson of the NHRC, as we have already read that it is a court type, like it's a quasi-judicial. So it's in fact a court. So it can look into atrocities that have been done on any citizens, in partly violating their basic human rights as to becoming a citizen of India. So in view of that, like who do you think has better analysis in addressing such cases? It could be some of the judge or any chief justices, or like someone who's a lawyer who has worked with in the government, right? So in the chairperson of the NHRC should be chief justice who has been a chief justice of Supreme Court, so they can be the chairperson. Then the other members has to be like one has to be the judge of Supreme Court, and the other member has to be Chief Justice of High Court, and two other members are to be appointed among the person. This is like a person of eminent knowledge. So, who has practical experiences in dealing with human rights issues, human right violation issues, who has already worked in war zone areas, who has already worked with some of the international NGOs where they have broad knowledge of expertise, so that they can imply that broad knowledge of expertise in such cases where the violation has been happening. And the two members are to be appointed from among the members having knowledge of practical experiences, yes, in matters relating to human rights, and also candidates with knowledge of practical experiences in human rights. At least one of the member has to be women. Okay, so this was the criteria that one has to be an intellectual and other has to be a woman. Where from the two subject expertise, one has to be the woman. Then the chairpersons of four national commissions. Now, what are these four national commissions? National Commission for Scheduled Castes, National Commission for Scheduled Tribes, National Commission for Women, National Commission for Minorities. These people, the members, the chairpersons of these four committee commissions, they will serve as an ex officio members to this NHRC. So now what do they do? What they discharge all the functions of NHRC, except that they will not inquire sumo too. Okay, so these ex officio members are part and parcel of this NHRC, just so that they will not do any sumo too, like they will not be a court, and they will not ask for any witness to present themselves, because they have their capacity to do that in the commissions, in their respective commissions where they seem that the violation have happened, but not in here because there's already chairman exists, right? Then the appointment. Now, who will appoint these members, commissions, etc.? So there will be a selection committee. The selection committee will recommend the candidates to the president. So the selection committee will have, now who will recommend the candidates to president? by selection committee. Now, who are the members of the selection committee? Prime Minister, Speaker of Lok Sabha, Union Home Minister, Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha, and the Leader of Opposition in both the houses of Parliament, both the houses, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. So you can understand that this is like excuse me. This is like everybody, every side, whether in the government or non-government side, will be involved in making this National Commission for Human Rights work without any ties. Like it can give its judgment free and fairly. So you can see the selection committee is also. Uh, it has represented widely with Prime Minister, Speaker of Lok Sabha, then Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha. So here you can understand why Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha, why not Rajya Sabha? Because the Rajya Sabha Chairman is Vice President, right? So then eventually the Deputy Chairman would be allowed to be selection committee, then leader of oppositions in both the parliament, both the houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. The selection committee will recommend a candidate to the president, and president will in turn appoint this commission members for the NHRC. Now, an officer of the rank of the secretary to the government of India is to be secretary general of this commission. So there's a secretary general also. Now, who can be a secretary general? An officer of the rank of secretary to the government can be the secretary general to this commission. Then NHRC is headquartered in Delhi. Then Justice Ranganathan Mishra was first chairperson of this commission. So let's talk about, let's suppose if a sitting judge or if a sitting chief justice of High Court has to be appointed. Now, initially they have to take permission from Chief Justice of India. So after getting an green signal from Chief Justice of India, then the sitting judges can be appointed as a members or as a commissioner to this NHRC. Then removal. How can they be removed if they are appointed by the president? They are removed by the president. I told you the golden rule. But the how the procedure is varied depending on their position. Okay, you should understand how. Then, how can they be removed on the grounds of misbehavior, incapacity, uh, after referring their misbehavior and incapacity to the Supreme Court? Okay, and where Supreme Court decides where this person has been misbehaving or acting in capacity, then they can be removed from the office by the president. They'll give a verdict to the president saying that, okay, this person has committed so and so. He has acted in his incapacity, so they are not fit for this service. Then, or else if they engage in any office in paid employment outside of the duties of that office. So this is if they are getting any salary from other than this commission, so then they are deemed to be removed from this office and is unfit to continue in the office for infirmity of mind or body. Then another one, if they are convicted or sentenced to imprisonment for an offense which in opinion of the president, if she thinks that it if it's of moral turpitude and this will have moral consequences on further judgments of the commission, if she thinks it's morally viable, then she can remove the members from being the member of the NHRC. Then, what is the term of this office? This term of this office is either 5 years or 70 years of age, whichever is earlier. Let's suppose if a commissioner is if a member is appointed as a commissioner at the age of 68, then he retires at the age of 70. Not just that they'll stay in power for 5 years. I hope you understand that. It's either 5 years or 70 years, whichever is earlier. And also they are eligible for reappointment. So for another term of 5 years or whatever is early, then their membership is subject to condition that they shall not hold the office after attaining the age of 70 years. Yeah, then a vacancy in the office of chairperson can be also by death or their resignation, or otherwise the above statements that we have read. And the president, by notification, can authorize one of the members to act as a chairperson until the appointment of new chairman is done. So, in place of vacancy, any of the member can be advised by the president to act as an to be an acting chairperson until the new chairperson is appointed. And how are their salaries and allowances are drawn? Their salaries and allowances are varied. They shall not be varied to the disadvantage. Okay, they shall be fixed at the time of appointment, and they shall not be varied if they work properly. They will be given such salaries. If they don't act as per their commands, they will be given such salaries. So they should not be used for their disadvantage. Then now functions and powers of commission. So they inquire sumoto cases. They act as a court. So and also inquire petition to it by victim or person on his behalf. So they can take the cases by themselves or by the victim or any person on behalf of the victim. Okay, so this is how the cases can be handled or taken up by the NHRC. Then they'll take cases where there has been the violation of human rights or any abetment to the violation of human rights. Then negligence in prevention in such violation by public servants. Then they may intervene in a proceedings where it is said to where they think that the human rights violations have happened, and the reformation or protection to study the living conditions of the inmates. And they can also make recommendations like how better this jails, how better this convicts can be uh, living their life in the jails rather than where they seem to have uh, been violated of their human rights. Then any act of terrorism that inhibit the enjoyment of human rights. They study treaties of international organizations and international instruments where the human rights uh, provisions, how better can the human rights be served to a citizen. So all these things they can do. They can promote the research in the field of human rights, and they also can promote the promotion of human rights through publications or media. They can encourage non-governmental organizations which handle the cases or situations dealing with human rights violations. And under Section 13, it ensures that they have powers of a civil court, and they can sue they can, uh, the court can sue under the Code of Civil Procedure Code. Then they can summon and enforce the attendance of any witnesses, examining them on the oath. They can ask for or production of any document which are which they think that could be useful for addressing that human rights violation case. And they can receive evidence on affidavits, and they requisition any public record or copy thereof from any court or offices. They can issue commissions for the examination of witness or documents. Under Section 14 of 1993 Act, it permits the commission also to utilize the services of any officer of or any agency of the central or state government with their respective concurrence. So not just that they can do anything of themselves, but they can ask help from any agency under the Section 14. It will be there in their legal rights provisions of National Human Rights Commission 1993. Then commission or any officer or agency working on behalf of the commission uh, of the investigation of a complaint has the following power. Now, let's suppose they have taken help from any commission or any person. So now the powers of this person or commission are they can summon and enforce the attendance of any person. Then any office or agency if their services are utilized, they have a right to investigate that complaint, and they have procedure for dealing with the complaints also, like how regular sittings in the first and third week of every month. Then a commission may approach the Supreme Court or concerned High Court for any directions if it deems necessary. And the commission is also required to send report inquiry to the concerned government, and copy of the report also should be given to the petitioner and his or her representatives. Then commission is also required to publish this inquiry report together with the comments of the whatever the authorities that have been involved in this. And the commission also acts as a catalytic agent which is brought together under the concerned central or the state agencies to take a number of initiative promoting the culture. Like it's just need not act be on field, but it can also give its varied opinions, expert advices in how this violation of human rights in particular situations could be handled either by the state or the central government also. So they can instigate the procedures fastly. Okay, that's what the catalysts do, right? Then it can intervene in any proceedings involving any violation of human rights, which are literally pending before the court. Now let's talk about like in case of India, like most of these human right violations have been against the police forces. That's what I have initially said in some of the movies where it deals with any officer violating. So there, the Human Rights Commission will come up and they'll investigate into the case on behalf on the officer. So this will be mostly against police forces, armed forces, like uh, mostly in those states where the terrorism, the acts of terrorism or the problem of terrorism is high. And under Section 19 of the Act 1993, this commission can also seek report from any government where they think that the government forces have said to have involved where they have violated the human rights. Okay, so this is very powerful. Like they can summon anybody if they think that a violation of human rights have happened. So that's what all this powers will sum up to. Then example, you can see Butler House also be in a movie. So in that also the main lead will be questioned or addressed about the violation of human rights. So this Butler House encounter case, the commission's report gave clean sheet to Delhi police. This came under fire from various quarters. So in that thing, the commission, you can see that it had failed to do a proper inquiry, and because it was said that the officials have never visited the site, they gave report on a second hand opinions or the views, and they filed a report. Never filed a report on the basis of they filed a report on only on the basis of police version. They have not conducted any investigation by themselves. So this you can see it acting in favor of them sometimes. So that's why the NHRC has to be very open and vague, opaque about its decisions. Then state governments also report the cases of custodial deaths. They should report the cases of custodial deaths or rapes within 24 hours of the occurring to the commission. So, which it would assume there has been an attempt to suppress the incident if they don't do it. Now, let us talk about State Human Rights Commission. So, State Human Rights Commission is also similar to that of NHRC, but just so that members, their qualifications would be different. So, for State Human Rights Commission, it shall commissioner should be of a Chief Justice of a High Court and or the chairperson who is Chief Justice of a High Court, and one member who is or has been Judge of High Court. Then one member should be district judge in that state, and two members to be appointed from among the members having knowledge or practical experiences for such matters. And chief minister as a chairperson, like the committee, just so that which had dealt with NHRC, the same committee here, but with in terms of state. Chief Minister as chairperson, Speaker of Legislative Assembly, Minister in charge of Department of Home, and Leader of Opposition in Legislative Assembly. Similarly, State Legislative Council also exists, where it will have Chairman Legislative Council and leader of opposition in that council shall be also be the member of this committee. So state commission also will submit its annual report to the state government, and the powers and functions of state commission are also in line with the procedure and inquiry investigation similar to that of NHRC. So in if we talk about this thing, most of the states are yet to install state human rights commission. So few major cases such as custodial torture, right to work, labor and rights, extrajudicial killings, arbitrary arrest, detention, excessive powers of armed forces of police, sexual violence, conflict-induced internal displacement, child labor, manual scavenging, violence and discrimination against women and children. Uh, the LGBTQ rights, problems faced by scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. All these things are handled by SHRC and NHRC, and their purpose is providing a speedy trial of offences. And the Chief Justice of High Court, by notification, they can specify for each district of a court and shall not apply in two conditions. Let's suppose if Court of Session already specified as a special court, or if special court is already constituted, then they cannot take up those cases, and discretionary power to specify any court of session. Now let us talk about limitations. So recommendations are made by NHRC are not binding, just like we have read it in Finance Commission, non-binding, and it doesn't have the power to penalize the authorities if they don't implement those policies. Yes, another drawback. And violation of human rights by private parties, they are not considered. Like this will be considered only if it is done by the party, the government, or members belonging to any officials belonging to any government offices. And members are recommended by selection committee, not necessarily the human rights experts. This has been a various cases, like after studying various commissions and their members. So they have come up with saying that the expert members may not have their extensive knowledge on human rights. Then NHRC does not consider if the cases are older than 1 year. Look, cases have to be fresh, then only they'll be considering it. And the cases which are anonymous, pseudonyms, or vague, they won't be considered. So the witness has to come up with their name. Then cases pertaining to service matters, then limited jurisdiction over cases related to armed forces, because in armed forces, this NHRC have no say. So it has insufficient funds. Then Protection of Human Rights Bill 2019. Now, what is that? What did this bill do? It has reduced the office to 3 years or till the age of 70. Earlier, we have read that it's 5 years or 70, but now it's 3 or 70. Then bill removes this 5 year limit of reappointment. Then allowed the Secretary General to exercise all administrative and financial powers. And also, bill provides the central government may confer upon SHRC functions to be discharged by union territories. And functions relating to Human Rights Commission in case of Delhi will dealt by NHRC. And amendment will also strengthen human rights institutions of India, which further effective discharge and their mandates and roles and responsibilities. And they have agreed to be functioning on the global standards and benchmarks. Uh, and it will compliant with Paris Principle 1991, compliant with Paris Principles of 1991, and UN also has created certain guidelines that set out minimum standards required for national human rights institutions to function properly. So this is what we have read in Human Rights Commission, NHRC and SHRC today. So I hope you are all clear with this. They'll mostly ask you the powers, functions, and various cases that NHRC have dealt and how better it can be functioning for it to be having, resolving the cases on a speedy trial. So you can write the limitations also that it has. So I hope everybody is clear with today's lecture. We can sign off. So this is what for today's NHRC and SHRC. Please go through the previous lectures and today's lecture on YouTube. Yes. So see you again for next class, where we'll try to finish, push in two chapters in one class, possibly. So see you again.